Yeah,
what's the big gambling one? Is Kick the one that's
Kick
big
has
into
a lot of the
gambling
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Twitch, I don't think you can gamble, can you?
I think they might have.
cracked
No,
down
they
on that.
allowed it. I thought no, they might have cracked down on it.
I just remember we used to stream. We used to live stream poker a little bit, and I thought somebody told me you couldn't do that anymore, or maybe you couldn't monetize it anymore. But I might be wrong. That's fun to watch. I like watching people gamble. We've been in our hangouts. Some of the guys have been streaming them gamble, and one of the guys in there, I don't know what he started with, but he was way up. He won $3,000 or $4,000 or something, and then he's like, "Anybody want any money?" And Dirty's like, "Me." He's like, "What's your wallet ID or whatever?" And Dirty tells him, he just sends Dirty $200 of his winnings just to be nice, and Dirty turns that 200 into $1,000 and cashes out 900 of it as we watch. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, I was happy to see him win.
I never know if those online gambling sites, though, I'm like, it would just be so easy for them not to, because they're not operating. You know, you go to Vegas, there's a Vegas gaming commission that has to check the machines and make sure you're not fucking around. But this, I'm like, there's no oversight. If they want to be like, hey, every Friday, let's just drop the odds to like 20%. Nobody can stop them.
No, they could do that. I would imagine.
I remember
They're
a
already
big controversy.
Legal gray area.
I remember a big controversy about that around like 2009, 2010 with the poker stuff and some anomalies. The servers were in the Caribbean or something, and there was this whole thing about them messing with the odds of poker. But you know, you're already doing something that's a little disreputable because it's not. Dirty was explaining this just the other day. Like, they're not guaranteed, so those websites can just pull the rug out and disappear anytime they want with all of the millions of dollars that are in there. Now, your $100 they don't really care about, right? Like you're like, I don't want to lose my money. If they leave, they're taking everybody's money, so it's not that big of a concern. But I don't know.
It's also like all crypto transfers. So if anyone ever like hacks them and takes all their Bitcoin, it's like, well, it's all gone. Sorry.
It seems like if that were possible, we'd know about it real soon, though.
Yeah.
Like there'd be trillions of dollars getting stolen and flooded around if people could just
feels like that happens from time to time, right?
With crypto.
Yeah.
You got to hold on to your keys.
Where just like at some point it's like, oh, this random coin, you know, people lost 30 million because the founder rug pulled.
Yeah, all it takes is one employee to be like, hey, they gave me access to the crypto account. I'm gonna send it to some random address and run
not
off.
Just the rug pull, Taylor, but like legit Bitcoin. Most people, not everybody, but most people keep their Bitcoin into some sort of online locker, and then it turns out that company either wasn't legit or wasn't secure, and everyone who had their money there loses it. Right? That happens.
That sucks.
Yeah,
that would suck so much to be like, I've got 50 Bitcoin on a key wallet, whatever, and then that company's like,
oops,
you've been hacked and all your money's gone. And it's like, and there's no recourse, and we're all moving to Argentina.
But I don't. How much money went missing? I don't know this story. I just got to imagine that if we're talking about someone with 50 Bitcoin, for example, which is what, $25 million or something like that, like you'd have that in a reputable place.
FTX did it.
2.5 million.
Oh, in that case, the owners embezzled and misused customer funds.
I just got a check from Voyager from whatever amount of money I lost in there.
These big, I wish this was my area of expertise, but yeah, these big like banks essentially are not. You think they're like regular banks that you can trust, and they're not.
Well, even regular banks are only insured for $250,000 each bank, right?
Yeah, each individual account is $250,000.
I think it's each person. Actually, you can't have like 6 accounts and get one.
Individual person. Yeah,
it's per person.
Yeah.
That's why you got to spread your money across multiple banks.
That way,
like the $250,000 is really holding Vito back. That's why I've got 7 banks.
That's why I've got 10 banks.
I wish.
That's what they say. If you diversify your bank selection, when the big banks fail, you'll be safe. Banks.
I was all horrified. So I had a bunch of money in Voyager because you were getting like 5% on it or whatever before Voyager went down.
Is that a crypto?
It was one of those crypto exchanges. Okay. Not what was the big one that went down? It was
Coinbase. That's the only one.
Coinbase is still going. The one that
what
the guy
FTX or something.
Friedman,
that's FTX.
Yeah. So it was basically kind of the same thing as FTX. It was a place to park your money, and they're like, if you have it in this crypto, you get 3% extra, and if you have it in this crypto, you get 5% extra. And then one day they said, hey, we're going to limit the amount of money you can take out every day. And I said, oh, that's not good. So and I was like, that's a real bad sign. So I took all the money I had in like crypto and I just converted it back into cash. Because like their thing said, you know, your cash is backed by the FDIC up to 250 grand or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll just convert it to cash and slowly take it out day after day. And I still had like $30,000 sitting on there when they're like, and we're going away. And I'm like, well, what about that money? I get it because it's insured. And they're like, well, we said it was insured, but not really. It was like convoluted. It was like on the fence as to whether it was insured or not. I think at the end of the day, it kind of wasn't.
We insured it personally.
Yeah. They were using all this like advertising saying like, oh no, it's FDIC insured. I'm like, okay, cool. It's my cash. It's in cash. It's in the form of cash. It's not in the form of crypto or whatever. And I did end up getting that money back, thankfully. But there was a week where I was just sweating bullets because they're like, we're not really sure if you're going to get it back.
That was more of a satisfaction guarantee.
God. Yeah,
I found a list. FTX is the third biggest one. Ronin Network and Poly Network are both bigger crypto hacks than FTX was, which wasn't a hack. I don't think it was stolen.
So no, they just made a terrible investment.
Wasn't it a hack that they? Oh no, it was just stolen by the founders. You mean? Okay.
Yeah. Where some of the other ones, like people got in and hacked. So Ronin Network, the largest cryptocurrency hack to date, March 2022. They got 625 million. Poly Network, a lone hacker got 611 million. FTX, that's 600 million, and it looks like the owner stole it. Binance, 569 million. It was a high profile.
Well, they're all stealing about the same amount of money.
Isn't it wild? It's
so do they catch them? Like, so are they in trouble after that, or is it just like this has all been a gray area? I guess you get your 500 million in American currency and go live your life. Sometimes they don't
know who stole it. Sometimes they don't know where it went. It's like some random hacker.
Wouldn't you know when it's like, hey, this guy, hey, Steve, yeah, I know I'm just a local bank manager, but this guy's account went from 3,000 to 550 million 3,000.
I don't think they would transfer the digital currency anywhere. Who would do such a thing, right? Like, and
honestly,
you can just put it on a device.
No, you just take that money and you go to the gambling website, and then you just gamble it.
Then you give it to the game.
Yeah, well, they probably lose half of it. They you know, Andy Milonakis. I think this is correct. You know, Andy Milonakis. Yeah. I think he did like an NFT right when NFTs started, like right at the hype, and it was like very smart. And he made like a couple $1 million, and then he disappeared. Like all this shit he said he was going to build. They're always like, oh, there's going to be runway and all that. They don't build any of that. And then somebody like checked his like Bitcoin account or whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he gambled 80% of that over on stake. Like it's just gone." And you're like, "Oh, Andy, no, you hit Bitcoin, you just let it go."
How much did he get? Like
a good amount. Andy Milonakis, NFT.
Like if he has 20% of the 100 million he made, then he's still
not 100 million.
Yeah, probably not 100 million.
But if he has 20% of the million he made, then go back to work.
Well, they're saying that it was a rug pull. I don't know the exact numbers. 1.3 million, they're saying, in NFTs.
What he's gambling on? You said stake. Do
you know stake? Betting. That's the one that has all the. They keep every time you see a video now, someone has ripped it and put the stake logo on it for some reason.
Yeah,
or I'm like, you can't just keep doing that. They're just stealing people's YouTube videos to promote their stupid gambling website.
Sports betting, right?
That's the that's the site that Dirty was on when he was.
I could get into sports betting's fucking fun. I could get into that, especially if I had a good bookie. If someone was like, well, you could bet this and it pays 2-1, or how about this parlay where all that's got to happen? It doesn't matter who wins or loses. It's just that this player fouls out and this player gets 15 points.
Those two cool
things. I'd be like, shit. Well, that sounds like a fun bet. It pays 8-1. Crazy. Yeah, let's do it. Here's 100. Like I could so see getting into that part of the gambling. But
Vegas is like only
Minesweeper for money.
Well, they do let you play Minesweeper for money on that stupid site.
It was state that he was on. And so I was watching Dirty play it, and secondhand, I'm having like the time of my life. I'm so invested in his wins and losses. I desperately want him to walk away with money and not lose it, and it would feel terrible.
Yeah.
And then Taylor says this thing that's been ringing in my head ever since. He's like, I can see how people get addicted to this and ruin their lives. It's like, yes.
There's so many colors going on. And like there was one game where it was literally just a Minesweeper board and you clicked and it either revealed a green diamond or a red bomb. And every click was like spending $5. And so if you click 10 times and you get all greens, you could cash out for 50. Or you could keep clicking to get more, or it's like exponential multiplier. And then if you hit one red, it's over. And the way I would be playing that for real money, I'd be like, click. Oh, okay, we're in the mix. All right, here's another one. Okay. Yeah. Dirty's like each one $5. Like clicking faster than I've ever seen. Someone who's a gambler's clicking finger. Like
we're all riveted by this. That whole hangout is just like, oh my god. Because I would look at the board. And I wanted to see which squares spoke to me, right?
That's
like which ones I was getting an aura from them, which I understand intellectually is stupid, but that's how I would do it. And Dirty, on the other hand, has more of a mathematician's vibe. He's like, well, I'm going to click 6. I have no information about any of them. So when I click 6 in 1 second.
He hit 3 straight up playing roulette, $10 a fucking bet. He hit it 3 fucking times. It's $360 or something. Yeah, he picked the number. And then he was having us pick numbers, and I picked 21, and he didn't pick 21, and it was 21. That would have been a huge win.
He let me pick numbers. I felt like a pretty girl.
Did you? Yes, me too. He lets me blow on his digital dice sometimes.
Yeah, I was like, 33.
Dude, there were times when I picked the number, and it's like, I'm not sure I'm in for the responsibility of being the guy who's just a number.
Oh, yeah, the time where he's like, Taylor, pick a number, and I'm like, 31, 21, 11, 15. And then like when it didn't, none of those happened. I'm like, oh, this is really on me. Like,
you should have said better.
Really, it's on that Sri Lankan guy who didn't give enough muscle to that twist.
Yes.
The problem, I think, becomes that I get more enjoyment out of the guys losing all their money and being despondent in the videos, where I'm just like, I just want to, because then there's no FOMO, and then there's no like, oh man, I should have gambled. And I'm like, aha, there you go. That's
Did you ever see the video where the guy sold his entire everything he had and then bet it on red?
Yeah, I forget. Didn't it work? Didn't he win?
Yes, he won.
Yeah, he just took his entire net worth.
Everything. Like he sold everything. He wasn't using. Like his house was emptied out. Did he sell his home?
He sold all of his earthly possessions. It didn't amount to nearly. You might think, oh shit, a couple million, huh? No, like $360,000 or something like that. I don't remember what it was.
Still a lot for a single bet.
He put it on fucking red, and there's a crowd. Everybody's there to see it. The TV.
I think his mom and dad were there. They like filmed the whole thing. He brought his family out to watch.
He's got a pistol in his pocket. You know he does.
The only thing he kept.
That's one way or another, it's gonna be a big night.
I said I sold it all.
No matter what, everyone's gonna remember this.
That's what the invitations would say. July 17th, a night to remember. I guarantee.
There's one book in the chamber. Who wants to bet? No, put it down, Tom. Five shots. If I survive them all, you give it back.
So how much money did
another game of roulette? Guess what? I lose this one too.
I think he turned 360 into 720, roughly, something like that, right?
It's a little less than that because of the zeros, but
wait,
you know,
it's 2-1 odds, though, right?
No,
a little worse because of the zero.
No, it's 2-1 payout, but the odds are a little worse because
you're right. There are equal amounts of red and blue, but it's not or red and black.
And blue.
I was gonna let it go.
Red and black. But yeah, he won. I was stressed for him watching that the first time. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, man, I really don't want to see his life crushed before his eyes. It's like that in MMA sometimes. Like sometimes there's a guy who's like, this was it. This was his last chance. Like his life as he could either turn left or right tonight, and this loss means he turns left. Like everything goes a different way for him now.
He didn't know it, but his whole life peaked at the previous fight.
Yeah,
like, that was it, and it's not going up from here.
Yeah, this is it.
I was after I did that comic campaign, which will be coming out soon for those of you who are following it. But we raised like 100,000, and I said, man, can you imagine if I just took that money and I just put it on the roulette table? And it's like, if I win, I go, everybody gets a free comic book. You all get your money back. And if I lose, I go, nobody gets a comic book.
I mean,
you only live once. Is it a little tempting?
It's tempting because I think it was tempting because I'm like, I think I would get like news for that, like Kickstarter creator bets all the money on one spin of the wheel.
Yeah, Kickstarter
no matter
creator
how
says "fuck you" to his funders, gambles it all.
Fuck you! I won you money. You should be happy. Everybody gets a little something.
Man, the roulette has to be the.
They're happy at first,
thing
but
to bet
everybody's
on.
cheering because you won. You're like, let it ride! No, fucking no.
That's that classic South Park scene. It's so good.
They
just
win the whole town back.
Stan, you just don't understand gambling.
Stan, we're on a hot streak, Stan.
We're on a hot streak. All the adults, they finally win. They can buy the town back. Let it ride. Let it ride.
Let it ride.
I like games, but I don't love gambling. Like the thrill of like having the money on the line isn't the biggest fun part to me. I like the game itself. Like it has to be a fun game. So Dirty, for example, clearly has a gambling problem. So he's playing Minesweeper for money. He's playing this one game where it's just a graph where the line is going up. Imagine a stock that's increasing in value.
Yeah.
And that its increase is the multiplier on your bet. So when it gets to 2x, all right, now you got $10 instead of $5. And it just goes, and then it drops. It immediately stops, and you don't know when it's going to stop. And you have no other indication of if it's about to stop or not. And he's just sitting there watching his money dissolve again. And I'm just like, stop.
Guys will cash out at like 2x, and then they'll watch it to like 160x because they cashed out too early.
He says he'll just bet and go to the bathroom and come back. Because sometimes
and
it'll
just hope
be
it's
like,
still going. Oh my god!
Hope it's still going to like 100x or something like that.
That's only got to be like once a day you hit like 100x or something.
He says he's seen it before, but I don't. I don't even know if I believe that.
The one thing I didn't understand about that game is like, can't you just every game cash out after 5 seconds and always turn a profit? I didn't get it. I was trying to figure it out.
I think it started below.
It starts below a multiplier.
It starts at 0 and makes its way to 1. So it could pop.
So anything before 1, you lose money if you cash out.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And that seemed like so little fun. Then he's playing slots online, and I was like, Jesus Christ, you don't even have the fun machine and the buttons anymore. You're just clicking go over and over, watching the money disappear. And it looks like Peggle. Yeah. It looks like Peggle fucked. What was that fruit game that everybody loved forever?
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush, dude. I put money in Candy Crush. I'm embarrassed to say I bought some candy coin or whatever the fuck it was.
Once you get to the Magic Sugar Mountain, you can't get over it without buying a couple.
Dude, I remember being on the porch just like ka-chung, ka-chung, ka-chung. Fuck yeah, make them pop. Like it felt so good to like make all that candy explode.
Never played this game. I played Peggle though.
Peggle's a great game.
I'm highly skilled at Peggle.
I bet
it's a game of skill.
It is a huge game of skill. You have to pick the right representative. Do you want the guiding line from Bjorn the Unicorn? Do you want the explosive power from the alien guy? It's a game of
I forgot about Peggle. Don't remind me about Peggle because I'm like, why do I not have Peggle?
Peggle rule in college, I would get so high I was barely sentient with my friends and play Peggle and like just like be cheering at good shots because it's the most like high game to play because no matter what you do, there's a million things popping up on the screen. The score has like a tactile like up like ratchet effect. It's very fun.
Well, I've seen in Vegas, they're starting to figure out that they can turn gambling games into little arcade games and stuff. I'm seeing like, they got like crane games where you win the magic ball or whatever and spin the wheel. So they're starting to gamify Vegas in a way where I'm like, I'm going to have to stay away because all this looks super addictive.
You know what I would do? I wish there was like video game tournaments happening like every 15 minutes and it was just a game of free-for-all Call of Duty. There's 6 chairs and each chair costs $50 to get in. And that would be so cool if there was a booth
Vegas was starting to
cool.
do like esports in a big way. And they were building like these little esports gambling rooms or something, but then it just kind of fell apart because like the money, esports is complicated. I was talking to a buddy and I said, the reason esports doesn't work is like you want a Michael Jordan poster on your wall. You don't want a Kim Duck Wong from the Korean Overwatch League like poster of a fat Korean kid holding his gaming keyboard. Like it's not nearly, the merchandise is limited. If you want Street Fighter merchandise, you're going to buy a poster of Ryu or Ken, not the fat Chinese guy who's really good at playing as Ryu and Ken.
That's true. You need like at least a gamer who's semi-fit to represent it.
Did
Even
any of
then,
those like
Even though
gamer
nobody's gonna have a
endorsements?
poster of a gamer on their wall.
like,
Well, that
it's the same way as those guys who won the lottery like multiple
Yeah.
times. There was a guy they're doing the news report, and he's like, "This is where I was when I won the. This is where I was when I won the lottery, and I bought a ticket just like this, scratched it up, and I've won again. More this time, quite a bit more. Like he'd won like a ton of money, like sitting
That's
there on
coolest.
camera. It's one of the sickest. Like, how does that happen? Like we've all played the lottery at least once or twice, a scratch off here and there,
Mhm.
and like this guy's won
Never
2
hit.
of them.
never
Hit. No,
Yeah,
I
never
don't
get
think I've
any-
ever
Damn.
bought a lottery ticket, but I've been given them. Like I don't know if this happens outside like the Northeast much, but you go to a party and there's a lottery ticket on every plate.
Yeah, for like Christmas, sometimes
Christmas.
people will
Yeah,
be like,
whatever.
"Oh, there's some scratch offs in your stocking."
I tried
Right.
doing that once, but I did it for a family. Like I went to Christmas at some family's house, and I was like, "Hey, I got everybody a scratch ticket," and none of them had ever done scratch tickets before, and they all thought they had won $1 million. I'm like, "No, you have to match the fucking number."
Oh,
I was like, "Do you guys really not understand this at all?"
Yeah, really? You thought I gave all of you $1 million? I didn't belong to these.
Why did it say 1 million or something?
It was just like-
it needs to say
It was
3
like
times.
you got to match like 3 cherries or something. They're like not matching the things right. I'm like, let me just look at it.
Yeah,
Like, none of you
oftentimes-
won. Nobody won.
Oftentimes it'll be like 32 little individual squares you scratch off, and each one is a dollar amount. And if you
Yeah.
get that dollar amount 3 times, you win it. And then there's a multiplier box off to the side, and it's like 3 times. Okay, that's $100, and the multiplier is holy shit 5. I won $500. But it'll say 1 million out there twice, just like the old Monopoly game from McDonald's. Like everybody's got Boardwalk. We're all waiting
Mhm.
on Park Place. You know,
Man,
there's
did
only
you
2 of them.
did you ever
Yeah.
have that kid in your school who swore he had the boardwalk ticket and him and his brother lost it? And you're like, yeah, okay.
No,
I don't know
no one was-
why. There was always like one kid who's like, yeah, I had the $1 million piece and I put it in my pocket and then it just went missing. Can
I
you
swear
believe
I
it?
do have a kid like that.
Yeah,
I
there you
have heard
go.
that before. Yeah.
I don't remember specifics, but that rang true when you mentioned it.
So-
I was like, bro, if you
anyone-
had the $1 million, he's like, we were at the ball game. I'm like, if I was at the ball game and I won $1 million, I would leave the ball game. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
anyone who claims that is lying because there
Because
were
the
no
one
winning
guy
pieces.
stole
It
all
was
the
a
money.
scam.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
didn't. No, he donated to charity. It all went to charity the way I remember it. Like the
Really?
guy running the game,
No.
the guy running the game. I think for like 2 or 3 years in a row, like there were only 2 winning pieces, and somehow he ensured that the money went to charity. Like he cashed them in, or somebody else did that he gave it to, something like that.
There's a whole documentary on that guy. I haven't watched it, but I understood that he just took the pieces and like gave them to family members to cash them in.
I thought
Seems
they
like they would've
donated
caught
to
that early.
charity.
It-
Yeah.